What is up? Kevin Hale here. Round of shots on this Sunday night, March 12th, 2023. Hope everyone is doing well, had a good week, and had some fun and excitement in your lives. Round of Shots is streaming live on our Twitter and YouTube pages. Join us, interact, comments, throw things at the round table, and let's have some fun tonight. Try to have some fun tonight. We're going to have some fun tonight because we're going to be optimistic and look forward to our Cats in this 2023 NCAA tournament. Joining us tonight, my usual partner in crime, Mr. Terry Brown. Terry, hey, how are you?
I'm doing great. Cats by 90, baby. Let's go. It's March, baby.
It is. Corey Price in the house. Corey, what's up?
Doing pretty good, Kevin.
Carrie Lewis.
Everybody's going to Wang Chung tonight. Everybody's going to have fun.
I get that reference.
Yeah. What was that? Is that that was an 80s song, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
By Wang Chung.
By Wang Chung. Tristan, what's up, man?
Hey, guys. Glad to be back.
2 weeks in a row. Shay is closing out this round table. What's up, bro?
It's going well. I said I wouldn't have any bourbon tonight, but here I am. So
you lied to yourself?
Yeah, I lied. I gaslit myself.
Yeah. Good to see you guys. Hope everyone is well. Again, joining us in the chat, comments, questions, throw it at us. Got a full show tonight, so let's get at it. Terry Brown, our Kentucky Wildcats, one and done in the SEC tournament. But you know what? Maybe not a bad thing. Lots of injuries.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You get some time to heal. Obviously, don't like losing to Vanderbilt, don't like losing the SEC tournament, but looking on the bright side, it was clear Cason Wallace was not 100%, so you give him some time to get back. CJ, not 100%. So I think you get 4 more additional days of rest and recuperation, and you try to be as close to 100% as you can. Seeding in the big tournament, I didn't think that was going to be a big deal. Just you would have to get in and win. So you go in healthy,
right?
And I like where the team is right now.
What is this team? This team has had some lots of personalities with this team. We'll try to figure it out. Corey, our one and done Cats. What was your take with Vandy, and maybe as kind of we alluded to with the injuries, maybe a blessing in disguise that they, rest time, healing time started, late Friday night.
It's Vandy in the conference tournament for us is a true head scratcher. It's hard to explain, but they have a winning record against us all time, 6-5, which
wow, I didn't know that.
It's hard to even fathom, but of course they're the only team that has a winning record against us. Sucks because we had three guys play great. Oscar, Jacob, and Reeves played pretty well. It's overshadowed by a loss, of course. But as we've seen in the past, a loss in the tournament in the SEC is not always doom and gloom. Of course, so I think 3 of our title teams lost in the tournament, so it's not doom and gloom. Obviously, trying to get. I'm hoping Wheeler plays this week. Cason should be fine. CJ, not really sure with his ribs and whatnot, but I think we should be fine coming into Friday night.
No, I'm totally with you. Carrie, go to you. Terry mentioned Wallace and Frederick not being anywhere near 100%, but they did play their asses off, so credit to them for gutting it out. Eventually, Wallace his leg gave out on him, so he, But the Vanderbilt game, another frustrating game because how many front end of 1-and-1s did we miss towards the end of the game? I mean, those little things, and this is where I'm going with this is the BBN, the attacks, right away at Cal. This was execution. This to me wasn't a Cal loss, but Go ahead.
Some of it was execution, but some of it was also Vandy throwing up shots at the last second on the shot clock and them going in. I mean, what can you do about that?
Okay.
I don't care who you are. if those suckers are going in, they're going in, and there's nothing you're going to be able to do about it. Now, missing free throws at the end there, obviously hitting some of those, down towards the end of the game could have gone a long way. But at the same time, I really felt like after that game was over, I thought we were kind of playing 3-on-5, 3-on-5 in that game with Toppin, Oscar, and Reeves having the most points, the most minutes, the most rebounds, and really doing the most work. So, I'm not sure how. I didn't think we played bad necessarily, but it's really hard to defend, guys who are just jacking up threes with 2 seconds left on the shot clock and they're going in. I mean, sometimes it just is what it is, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah. Tristan, your take on the Vandy game?
Yeah, so losing to Vandy for the second time in 2 weeks isn't ideal. It was
their two Super Bowls. They had two Super Bowl victories this year.
And both games kind of went the same. Kentucky got up a little bit early and then just got back on their heels and could never come back.
Were you there?
I was not there. So I actually, my day job, I did not. I was going to be there Saturday and Sunday, but glad I didn't buy those tickets. But it was just kind of disappointing. Kind of what Carrie alluded to. They're just throwing up shots. Kentucky, I think the shot quality. I don't know if you've seen that metric analytic system, but they actually have Kentucky ranked 8th in the tournament field at defending the 3-pointer and the layups. And Vandy got 3-pointers and layups at will. They were shooting, even if they were wide open. Let's say they weren't contested, they were just going in. I mean, I do give Cal a little bit of put Cal a little bit to blame because it didn't seem like he changed the game plan that much from last week. I would have liked to seen Oscar get the ball a little bit more, but kind of what Terry said, you can't make guys make free throws. Yeah, I think they went 3 for 10, 3 for 8 somewhere. So they went 3 for 8 in the last 4 minutes, 3 for 10 if you count the 1-on-1. So you lose by 7, make the free throws, it's a different ball game. Yeah, but it's not the big tournament, thank God.
No, and Shay, this is where you got to look. A lot of, or several of our guys are logging some major minutes, and if they had to, they would have Friday, Saturday, 3 straight games. Big picture. I mean, if you look at it the other way, if they made it to the championship game, win or lose, that's a lot more. That's some additional wear and tear on these guys, just for a tournament, or the SEC tournament rather than the NCAA. But what was your Vandy take?
I'd rather than pointing the blame, I just want to point out that, in my opinion, the opposing team against Kentucky making every prayer shot has become quite a habit. Maybe over the last 7 or 8 years, it feels like, and it doesn't feel like just luck anymore. I thought that having a week to prepare should have resulted in a victory, and that's kind of inexcusable. And I'm not ready to fire Cal because of it, but you had a week to prepare for a team that you just played, do something differently, and we did the same thing. There were a lot of different factors that went in. Now, saying that, also as a Kentucky fan, this SEC tournament is very important to us. We own that tournament historically, so it means a lot to us. But now, after the brackets come out, I really don't know how much it would have affected our seeding unless we went all the way to the championship game and somehow beat Alabama. Then maybe we would have been moved into a 5 seed. But I'm looking at some of the 5 seed matchups, and the vast majority of them I would rather take our draw than what the 5 seed was. Maybe outside of one. Maybe the San Diego State 5 seed is one I would rather have. But then you're in Alabama's bracket, so I don't think the loss had a long-term impact. And I kind of feel for Vandy because they didn't make it into the tournament after having such a boss end to their season with all those wins. So I guess it's more of a moral loss, ego loss than anything long term. And maybe, just maybe, the extra time off to rest might be a good thing, but that remains to be seen. You don't know what Kentucky team is going to come out. And that's what's very interesting, and that's why we're afraid of Providence. We're not afraid of them on paper, but we're afraid of them because of us. So,
I'm totally with you. Terry, I'm going to go back to you. What is the personality of this team? How would you define the personality of this team right now?
It's Jekyll Hyde. I mean, you don't know what you're going to get.
There's where I'm going. Yeah.
That's I think the frustrating thing is we've seen high highs, we've seen low lows, so it's tough to get a read on this team. Even the teams that went into the tournament, under Cal, they didn't have the best regular season. We knew 2011 was trying to figure it out. Lost a lot of close games on the road. 2014 had turned the corner in the SEC tournament. So they were trending upwards. But this roller coaster team, you don't know. And Cal said at post game that we've shown we can beat anybody. But we've also shown we can lose to literally anybody. So I don't know. But I'm going to err on the side of I think we can. I love the draw. I really do. It's not too often that we get a draw where I'm like, okay, we've got some work to do.
Mm-hmm.
But, we play our best basketball. There's no reason we couldn't make it to the second weekend.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. Let's do this. Let's go to the brackets. While I'm doing that, staying with you, Terry, the matchup with Providence, right after they said Providence, they right away went to the Bryce Hopkins card. How are you feeling with this match?
Here's the thing. And I've been tweeting this for the last 10 years, talking about it forever. The NCAA tournament is a television show. It's a television show that happens to crown a national champion. Once you realize that, stuff makes sense. Like, I know we're pointing to the Providence game, but you got Texas and Texas A&M, that potential second round matchup. Like, they do this often. Mm-hmm. Louisville played Morehead State one year. Like, this happens. It's not specifically a Kentucky phenomenon. But once you understand it's a television show, it starts to make a little bit of sense.
No, totally agree.
I love the bracket. Kentucky can beat Providence. Providence is 5-6 in their last, or I think 5-6 their last 11 games. Like, this is a team that Kentucky can beat. And so I feel confident with this bracket. This team needs to win.
I think the bracket really for Kentucky it's built for them to win. I think the opportunities are definitely there.
The biggest thing is, and I'll shut up, number one, Kentucky has to get as healthy as it can get between now and Friday. And two, Cal and the staff's got to do a good job of keeping the pressure off these kids. Because they know we haven't won a tournament game since 2019 or whatever it is. I just don't want this to be a close game because I think this team will get tight. That's my 2 cents. Give me a game like what we had at Arkansas where we're up 6 to 8 points and just win a comfortable game. Because if we're down, going into half, going into the second half, my concern is the mental aspect will take over.
Yeah. Corey, as Kentucky fans, most times when we do these types of shows, podcasts, and we're right away zeroing in on the Providence game, but we can't help due to our confidence in our Cats to look ahead, to every possible matchup. That's not the case with this team. Corey, we're one game at a time. But what's your take when it comes to Providence?
I did get a little chuckle when we had him in our bracket. Of course, because of Bryce. We played Mark Curry and Cornell in 2010. I mean, obviously, Bryce is a much, much, much better player than Mark Curry. But so it's the second time we've played a former player of ours in the tournament. Like Terry said, they've struggled late. Although the Big East has been a fairly tough conference, but still, it's not a great record in their last 11 or so games. And then if we get if we get past them, Kansas State, it's hard to get a read on them because everybody beat up everybody in the Big 12. And I know it's a lot of ifs, but if we get past that, if it's Marquette, I'm not. I mean, Shaka's only gotten past the first weekend once as a coach, so.
And he became one of the most sought after coaches
because of that one.
Because of that.
Yep. So I mean, draw. I mean, it's pretty good for us. I mean, and then the one is Purdue, and I feel like, I mean, Zach Edey obviously is a monster down low, but if somehow, some way you can take him out of the game, Purdue's not really that great. So
yeah, they're definitely beautiful.
The guards are terrible.
Yeah. Carrie, looking ahead to Providence, what you got for me?
I honestly didn't even remember who Bryce Hopkins was, to tell you the truth.
Really?
I had to ask
Really?
somebody. I really, honest to God, everybody's Bryce Hopkins, and I was like, who? I don't know. I do not pay attention to college basketball, especially the lesser conferences, to the extent that I do college football. I really don't. So I couldn't tell you about any of these. Like, I couldn't tell you about Providence. I couldn't tell you about a lot of these other teams from lesser known non-Power 5 conferences. I don't know. You know, we said last year, oh, hey, look, we're playing the Peacocks. Ha, ha, ha. How'd that turn out for us?
Well, that's why I don't even want to talk about.
So yeah,
really,
so
I don't want to talk about
I don't
the
know.
potential.
This team has been so Jekyll and Hyde is so inconsistent this season, and you know that's the kind of been the trope that we've talked about. Almost, you know, it's already dead, right? But that's the thing. You don't know what you're going to get. Like, we could get 2 great games. We could get 6 awesome games. We could get 1 terrible game and lose. We could, I don't know. I don't know. That's where I'm at.
Chatting it up so we can figure it out together. All right. Tristan, Providence, what you got, Bob?
Yeah, I think when you lose to South Carolina, Georgia, you got 2 losses to Vandy, you can't really complain about what draw you're given. But Kentucky got a pretty favorable one. I think there was only one I think Kentucky would have rather had, that may have been the West. I know UCLA's are too, but they're without Jalen Green, and I know their big guy Adam Bona. He got injured. I don't know what his status is for the tournament, but with that being said, Providence plays a very similar kind of game to Kentucky. They don't defend very well, but they score at the upper end of the KenPom rankings. Looking at it, Kentucky's 14th, Providence is 16th, just to give you an idea. So I do think it's going to be 2 very similar types of game styles. And then when that's the case, you kind of look at who's got the best players. I think Kentucky's got the advantage there. But everybody's going to be talking about the Bryce Hopkins thing. It'll be kind of interesting to see what some of the players that were on last year's team, how they kind of react to that. Mm-hmm. I think, but the way I'm looking at it, it's kind of like the revenge tour. The first game's a revenge game for Bryce Hopkins. But if Kentucky can beat them, then they play Kansas State, who knocked them out in 2018. Then you have a potential Marquette matchup that knocked you out in 2003, 2008. So to get to the Elite Eight. But it'll be interesting. Duke, you could have a Duke Elite Eight matchup. The NCAA knew what they were doing there. Duke's playing really well as late. But it's kind of just going to be a crazy, chaotic tournament. And just hopefully Kentucky can win a few games and make a run that we hoped they would at the beginning of the season.
Shay, Providence.
Yeah, just wanted to repeat that they are the KenPom number 16 adjusted offense, and we do tend to have trouble with teams that are good offensively because we can't defend, but we can score the ball, which is not something I thought I would be able to say early in the season when it looked like some of the worst offense I'd ever seen anywhere, not just a Kentucky team. So I am a bit worried, but we have an Oscar Tshiebwe, and normally I would not want to rely so heavily on Oscar. I think the team plays better when he plays just a rebounding role and putbacks and just plays within the offense. But this might be a game where we just need to have our better players go forward. I think everyone kind of said what I was going to say, so I'll talk more about the Bryce Hopkins storyline. And already all over Twitter, you're seeing people talk about, revenge for Bryce Hopkins, revenge. And I don't see it that way because the situation that Bryce Hopkins was in last year, I mean, you had Keon Brooks was already in the program for 4 years. You already had Jacob Toppin. There wasn't much room for him to make mistakes and get playing time. And then once he found out that Jacob Toppin was coming back, I felt probably he needed to go somewhere, even though I love his game and I wanted him to stay. And I think most Kentucky fans feel that way. He needed to go somewhere where he was allowed to play through mistakes and get that playing time and not have to look over his shoulder. So Providence was a good spot for him considering his body type, considering he needed to work on his conditioning a bit. So I am not the least surprised that he is successful there. But the athleticism of the Big East, keep in mind, they are a very good conference this year, but the athleticism of the Big East and the speed is not the same as the SEC. So, I don't think fans should look at it as like, oh, well, Cal didn't know what he had. He knew what he had, but he also had a Jacob Toppin. So, and we've seen how good he's been in the SEC the last 2 months. He has been a certified pro. I would argue he's been better than Bryce Hopkins the last couple of months. So I think I'm not losing any sleep over that.
No,
and
I agree. Good take. All right, Terry, back to you. The South. Start with the South region as we look at the 2023 men's bracket. The South.
I feel like an old person because I've got to bring my phone up now.
What is? Ann wants to know, Terry, what drink quenches TB tonight?
Well, thank you, Ann. I've been working on Gatorade. It quenches my thirst when I'm looking at NCAA brackets. The South, Alabama. My only concern about Alabama is, yes, they're a phenomenal team, but I will tell you what, that spotlight's going to get brighter. And one thing about Alabama, it's how badly sports people know how to deal with real life stuff. Because Greg Gumbel kind of fumbled the bag a little bit talking about Alabama, and they kind of sort of had a thing they had to overcome this year. No, it's just bad. It's just bad. I think more questions kind of make that an off the court thing a little bit heavier. I actually picked earlier. I got Baylor coming out of the South. I think Alabama, there's too much going on. Arizona, I'm not convinced that they have the guard play necessary. And I'm just going to go with Baylor because I don't believe in Virginia or Maryland or West Virginia. So why not Baylor?
Why not? Corey, what's your South take?
They are going through some off the court troubles, but in every game, Bama's probably gonna have the best player on the court, so that's to their advantage. But I think Zona's gonna be trouble with their two bigs. I don't know if obviously if they both get there, I don't know if Bama can keep up with Zona's two bigs. So I might be taking Zona out of the South.
Really? Okay. When you say Bama's going through some off-court problems, if you listen to the coach and the players, they wouldn't think it. There was, I know it rolled around on social media. There was 2 fucking Bama fans, clowns, who had that shirt on the back. I can't remember the exact quote, but basically
killing our way through the SEC.
I mean, it.
That was bad.
Worst of fan bases.
Says a lot. Carrie, your South take.
I think Bama flames out. I don't trust them. I really don't. Yeah, they have probably one of the best players in the country, but I think it's too big. I think they flame out. I can see that. I don't know. Give me Virginia. They're boring enough to go through. I think they can lull people into a sense of comfort and then end up winning the game. So sure, give me Tony Bennett in Virginia.
Okay, there you go. Tristan, what do you say about the South?
The way I look at it, I kind of separate the South bracket in between 2. If Alabama doesn't make the Sweet 16, I think that's definitely a letdown for them, just given other teams. Virginia's not been strong. I know Carrie picks them to go. I think probably their most difficult game is Maryland if they beat West Virginia. Charleston is a sneaky 12, but I mean, Alabama's got the athleticism and the talent. They should be able to get that pretty easily. But if you look at the lower half, you got Creighton, the top 15 team before the season started, one of the best perimeter shooting teams in the country. They scored 90-something points just a few weeks ago. So when they're on, they're on. NC State's got one of the best backcourts in the country. Baylor, Arizona. I mean, honestly, you could trade either one of those out, and they'd be fine. But I would pick one of those two teams to come out of there. I think Baylor's just got the offense, especially with Keontae George. If he can stay healthy, I know he's had some injury issues down the stretch. That's my pick to come out.
Shay, what you got for me for the South?
I think there are a lot of really great matchups in this division. I still got Bama coming through, beating Arizona, but that's going to be a crazy game if that actually does happen. But the 3-6 matchup between Baylor and Creighton is very interesting. And Creighton's a team that I liked on paper before the season, and I was singing their praises. They've dealt with a lot of injury issues, but they have 5 guys that are pro basketball players in their starting lineup. Maybe even another guy off the bench that's going to be an NBA player. So, when that time comes, it's going to be a really, really, really great matchup. I mean, they got Ryan Kalkbrenner, and that's going to be a great matchup. I still expect Baylor to win, but I'm very excited about that matchup. And the Arizona, Missouri, like two high octane offenses going at each other. So this is really a bracket that I kind of don't want to be in. I wish Virginia was in Kentucky's bracket, because that is a team that I think Kentucky could beat pretty easily. Very good defensive team, but will struggle to score. But I got Alabama coming out of it. I think they've dealt with enough adversity thus far that if they seem unfazed by it somehow. So I think they're going to continue.
Hold on. What is their adversity? What adversity are you talking about? The incident, the shooting
incidents. They've dealt with noise.
That makes it sound like pity Alabama to me, and that's bullshit. And I'm not.
Oh, I'm not pitying them. I'm not belittling what they did, because I don't think Brandon Miller should probably have been playing, but they somehow were able to play well through being under a microscope. We can discuss another day whether it's been right or wrong. It's been wrong, but
we'll save that.
It is what it is.
Season wrap up, right?
Yeah.
Season wrap up.
I wasn't trying to come at you, but
It sounded like you were trying to come at him.
I did. I mean, yeah.
Even with all that going on, I mean, look at the performance in the SEC tournament.
That's fair too.
I mean, they beat Mississippi State by a ton. They were up on A&M by quite a bit. I mean, they just kind of rolling through teams right now.
All right, let's Terry, switch gears. Let's go Midwest.
This is the Iowa bracket, because you got Iowa, Iowa State, and Drake. This is the all Iowa, appropriately in the Midwest. Just real quick, I don't have any faith in Houston, and Texas is looking really good because they've been taking it to Kansas. I've got Kansas. No, I'm sorry. I've got Texas coming out of here, but honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Indiana made it. I would not be surprised, and it pains me to say it because I hate Indiana like I hate athlete's foot.
That Miami-Indiana matchup in the second round, if we get it, it's going to be fun to watch.
I don't even think Miami gets ever heard someone referencing athlete's foot as a. But
Miami or Florida loses to Drake because Drake has been to a Final Four, and Tennessee men's hoops has not.
I heard y'all talking about that on Spaces, that Tennessee's never made a Final Four. I would have thought maybe during the Ernie and Bernie show?
Nope. And they got to the Elite Eight with Lofton, and they got beat by Ohio State that year. That's the closest they've gotten.
Yeah. Okay.
They've only been to one Elite Eight, and Drake has been to 3 plus a Final Four. So that's one of my Tennessee fun facts. But no, I'm sorry, I had to jump in on that.
Your jumping is allowed. Corey, what about you on the Midwest?
It's hard to tell what Houston will do because Marcus Vassar's out as of right now. I don't know what his stats would be for next week, but he's the glue for Houston. So not sure about that. Texas is playing great. They clobbered Kansas yesterday. And then the Xavier, I don't have any faith in Xavier or IU or really Miami. So I think Texas might have like a cakewalk. I think, honestly. So to
Okay. No, I think Texas is definitely solid out of the Midwest. Tristan, what about you? Or no, I'm sorry, Carrie. Carrie, go.
So I should have said this when we were in the South into this bracket. Full disclosure, I am terrible at this, like really, really bad, like really, really terrible. With that
so she'll
said,
do better than all of us.
No, seriously, I'm garbage at picking brackets, just absolutely awful. Because like I said, I don't know a lot of these little teams and that kind of thing. But I like Texas. I like Texas's interim coach. He seems to be having a super lot of fun right now, so good for him. So yeah, I like Texas. They seem to just be playing. They just seem to be having fun.
Probably as relaxed as any team. Yeah, definitely looking good. Who we got? Tristan, go. Midwest.
Yeah, so I'm kind of on board. I think Texas has got this one, but I know a lot of people don't have faith in Miami or Indiana, but I think both of them make the second round, and in that matchup, whoever wins that's going to beat Houston. If they make it that far, they're going to make it to the Elite Eight. Miami's got 4 or 5 guys that can score at any given time. They got Nigel Pack and Isaiah Wong, probably 2 of the 10 best guards in the country. They can light you up for 30 in a given night. So how they got those players are NIL-wise kind of in question right now. But I would pick Indiana just because Trace Jackson Davis, but I hope they get killed by Texas. So that's kind of my pick. Kind of one of the weaker brackets in the whole thing, though.
Yeah, they're definitely. There's nothing that kind of dazzles me. What about the potential Indiana-Houston matchup made for TV there?
I kind of like Auburn to come out. To be honest with you, I mean, I don't know, but SEC teams have found a way to make the Sweet 16 without you thinking it. Auburn can be a team with Johnny Broom and
I was winning that game, Tristan Thompson.
Woo!
I thought I was coming with some.
I didn't marry a Kardashian, so
I married a Hawkeye, so I gotta go with Iowa.
The thing is, you don't have to marry a Kardashian.
I do like Iowa though. I think whoever wins that game, I think that's the first upset, or not the first upset, but I think that's the first one seed to go down to Houston, just because if Marcus Sasser's not healthy, that's a big loss to that team.
Give a shout out to Northern Kentucky there too, by the way.
Go Norse.
Norse. It's Horn, Darren Horn, right? That's it.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Shay, what do you say about the Midwest?
I like Texas a lot. The best basketball I saw this entire year was Texas. Sorry about the background noise. Was Texas earlier in the season against Gonzaga. Now this is actual. You know what? I'm not going to say the A word again, but with the stuff that went down with Chris Beard, they somehow their season didn't fall apart. The A word. Sorry. It wasn't the players' fault in this instance. Yeah. So I really like them. I think they're going to beat Houston. I disagree on Xavier. Sean Miller's done a hell of a job this year, and Sean Miller has a very underrated resume, and he has he's plus 70% win percentage at multiple teams. He's recruited really well. It's not a Sean Miller PSA, but I think he's a really good coach.
He's a high level coach. He definitely.
Yeah, if you're talking about Kentucky replacement head coaches, if he can keep what he's doing at Xavier, especially with him being cleared,
that's a name on my list too.
So
with Nate Oates and everything.
I got to pull up the tweet, but I sent a tweet out with an anonymous resume. And I asked people to guess who they think that would they take this person as the next Kentucky coach. About a few people were like, I need to see more, but the vast majority were open to the resume, and it wasn't like an immediate no. And the resume was Sean Miller's because he's recruited really well at Arizona. But he's a Cal guy. Like he's basically a Cal protege. So I think some people might want to move away from that. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. The point is that he's done a really good job back at Xavier, which easier school for him to coach at. Obviously, yeah, Isaiah Wong is a player I love a lot. So Miami is a very dangerous team. I do think that there is an injury to Norchad Omier, their big man. He might have an ankle issue, but Isaiah Wong is electric, and obviously Nigel Pack. And Isaiah Wong actually reminds me a lot of DJ Wagner, so we're very excited for next year. So I do think Texas comes out of that bracket. They just got so many weapons. They got great guards, great guard play. So I'm looking for Texas to come out of there.
All right, thanks, Shay. Terry, switching to the West. What you got for me?
It's the wild, wild West. I mean, you could tell me anybody from Kansas all the way down to 9-seed Illinois would make it out of there. And I do pronounce the S in Illinois because they stole Lincoln. It's not the land of Lincoln. Lincoln was born in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. But, it's just kind of wide open. I talked myself into Gonzaga coming out because I don't believe in Kansas. I don't believe in UCLA with their injuries. So I don't know. There's a possibility it might be TCU. They're going to get a little bit of that hypno-toad magic from football. Will it come to basketball? Who knows? So I really think I'm going to go with Gonzaga coming out of the West.
Wild, wild West it is. Corey, what do you got for me?
Excluding the last year, Kansas tends to break out early, so I don't have faith in them. Like Terry said, UCLA, the Pac-12 Defensive Player of the year's out, so it's not looking good for them. Gonzaga, they've gotten a couple Final Fours of late. I know on ESPN, UConn was the pick of most of their guys, but I will probably go with Gonzaga for this one.
Carrie Lewis, what's your news for the West?
You know what? It is Wild Wild West, Terry. And you know what? I'm going with the only other man that Jay Billis said could coach UK, and that is Rick Pitino in Iona, because why the hell not?
He's getting 2 wins. He's going to the Sweet 16, right?
Why not?
I think we can just we can admit that much.
Sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
I told you I'm paired with this, so I'm going with Iona. Why not?
He's still the best X's and O's guy in the game, in my opinion.
Still, is he at St. John's next season? Is that
I think so.
That job was made for Pitino. It kind of just depends on what St. John's wants to do. But.
Yeah,
the undead division, and they're coaching at St. John's.
There's so much talent in that
70s, right? Isn't he about 70?
He's like 70, he's old, but he's still at it.
Wait a minute, I don't think he's 70. That would be
He's like 72
80.
or 73, something like that.
That area has so much talent, and it has more than talent. It has players that will be receptive to Rick's attitude and style because they're the same. They're tough New York kids, so he's going to succeed there. He's going to do really well at St. John's, in my opinion.
All right, Carrie and her West. Who we got? Tristan, what do you got for me? West.
I think this is kind of. I know we've kind of looked at. I believe it was the Midwest kind of bad, but I believe this is probably even worse. You have a really inconsistent UConn team. I don't think anybody out of the South is going to be able to beat Gonzaga other than TCU, especially if UCLA is not healthy. But Northwestern has upset a few teams lately, so maybe they could finagle their way in the Sweet 16. But I really like Arkansas. Obviously, I think they'll have to play Kansas to beat them, but guard play wins, and you got Anthony Black and Nick Smith Jr. That's 2 lottery picks in this year's draft. So I think guard play is what wins you games in March. I don't think they can carry them to the Final Four or anything, but I do think they can get to the Sweet 16 and maybe play UConn. That'll be an interesting game, but I like Gonzaga coming out of that bracket, which is kind of crazy. In the recent years, Gonzaga's been the favorite, and honestly, this is probably one of the easiest runs they've had, I would say, and they still got. I mean, they don't have great guard play, but you still have Timmy. I feel like he's been there for 8 years, but I really like Gonzaga there.
All right, Shay, close the West out for us.
Yeah, I don't want to copy everyone else, but I also got Gonzaga coming out. Grand Canyon's probably a team they've played before. TCU, and then a hobbled UCLA, and then Kansas, which is going to be their hardest matchup. I just feel that, the previous 3 years, Gonzaga had all the talent in the world, and we thought they were basically a shoe-in for the national championship. It just feels like this is the weird year where when they have less talent, they're actually going to go far. And I also think that the experience of being here so many times in a row, I feel like this year they're probably going to break through to the national championship game. I still don't think they'll win, but I do think they'll come out of that region.
Terry Brown, just for the records, your Illinois team, are they playing Arkansas?
If Kansas and Arkansas play, whoever wins that game determines on how we pronounce both states. Can we just put that on the table?
It is. That would be one.
Is it Arkansas or is it Kansas? So figure that out. That's the winner of that game.
But for our shits and giggles, it's Illinois v. Arkansas. Just to stay with your vocabulary. Okay.
Yes. Illinois.
All right, Terry. While you're talking, give me your East thoughts.
Give me the team that's been to an NCAA record 60 NCAA tournaments, has appeared in the Sweet 16 42 times, has appeared in the Elite 8 37 times, has appeared in the Final Four 17 times, and has cut down the banner 8 times. I will be dead and in my grave before I pick any team to beat my Kentucky Wildcats in the tournament. I'm a homer. I'm a sunshine pumper. I've talked myself into it. The Cats are going to Houston.
Okay, you said it. Staying with it.
Is it really?
Is it a home? If you had to put $100 down, would that still be your?
I am never picking another team to beat the Kentucky Wildcats. Okay. I'd sooner not make a bet. The times I don't feel Kentucky do it, I don't feel out of bracket because I cannot write down it. And I know that sounds dumb, but that's just how I operate. So, yes, they're going to Houston.
All right. Houston, there's not going to be a problem, right? If Kentucky's there. Houston, no problem. All right.
I'm going to quench my thirst with some more Gatorade, by the way.
Go for it. Corey, what do you say about the East?
Purdue has some shaky guard play, and I feel like if Zach Edey gets in foul trouble, they're in trouble themselves. Like I said before, Marquette, Shaka's only been to the second weekend. That was 12 years ago. Kansas State, not too impressed with them. They got beat up a lot in the Big 12. Tennessee, Ziegler's out. So I think they're a different team. I almost want to throw up when I say this, but I think it's Duke. It's awful and terrible, and I want to say it, but they're hot right now. I think they won like 9 in a row, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately, I think it's probably Duke.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we got to be objective here.
Right.
We ain't got to be nothing, Kevin Hale.
I mean, or you could be.
You ask a question, and somebody give an answer.
What'd you call it? Sunshine? What?
Oh, I'm a sunshine pumper. I stay. I'm an optimistic person by nature. So
I know that you are. Carrie, how optimistic are you with that 6 seed? Advancing to Houston.
Not very. Tyra, you left your toothbrush at my house. Memphis is sneaky. They're shooting basketball. I love Little Penny. Those are the best commercials ever. I don't know. Memphis seems sneaky. They put a pretty good hurting on Houston in their conference championship game. So sure, why not? I'll take Penny.
There was a part of me, how they deny it, but don't. It is. The NCAA tournament, Terry, as you said, it's made for TV. The thought of a Kentucky-Memphis game was definitely one of what matchups are they going to try to make happen? And
and Carrie just became Mama B's favorite picker because she's a Memphis State alumni. So way to go, Carrie Lewis.
All right, Tristan.
I think this is the most wide open bracket. There's just not an overwhelming favorite. You've had Purdue that's been inconsistent. They're going to be the favorite just because their body of work winning the Big Ten championship. But I think Duke, Tennessee are the two teams you got to watch because I think Memphis or FAU could upset Purdue. But that Duke Tennessee game, is there a way to just tie it, like kick out both teams, something, because that's going to be a terrible game to watch.
Did you know Tennessee's never been to a men's Final Four? I don't know if we brought that point up.
I think we need to.
Not in the last 10 minutes.
But, okay, well, I just they've never been, so.
But I don't want to see John Shire have success in his first year without Case, so I hope Tennessee wins that one and then loses to whoever comes out of Purdue, Memphis, FAU. I want to pick Kentucky. I think they have as good a shot as anybody to go to the Final Four out of this bracket. I know that's weird to say as inconsistent they've been, but I mean, they have probably the best freshman guard out of that with Case and Wallace, and they probably have the best big outside of Zach Edey with Oscar. So, I mean, you have two of the 5 best players in that entire bracket on one team. But I know it sounds weird, Kansas State, I think they beat Kentucky. I think they got Keontae George. I just think they beat Kansas. They beat any good Big 12 team this season. I like them, but I'm not confident in that pick whatsoever. Anybody can win. So, especially even Michigan State could make a run. They still got 2 really good guards.
Guard
but I don't
play.
see
Guard play.
So, it's going to be a weird one in that bracket.
This is definitely going to be a. Shay, conclude gives the East take.
Yeah, well, going back to Memphis, let's just mention that Memphis has DeAndre Williams, the guy that Kentucky recruited, who is 26 years old. He is 26 years old playing college basketball. Bro, just stop. Go start a family. Go get a job.
I think he's eligible for one more year too.
Oh man,
I think I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure he's eligible for one more year. That's crazy.
You're 27. It's time for you to have a mortgage and 2 kids now. Not playing college basketball, but no, Penny's got them playing really well. Unfortunately, they just got a really bad draw, being the 8 rather than being a 7 or 6. Like Tennessee, we know Zakai Ziegler, but they're going to be tough for Duke if they come out of it. And Duke fans are really worried about Oral Roberts. Oral Roberts is a good team, so that's actually talking to some Duke fans before.
You got 2 NBA guys on that team.
And Connor Vanover, right? Who they have Max Amos, and then who's the other guy?
Yeah, the point guard and the Hanover guy. He's 7'5". He can shoot threes too. He can extend it. That and Filipowski would be a good matchup.
Yeah, 2 offensive-oriented guys that aren't really good on the boards, but at least one of them isn't for Oral Roberts. But yeah, that was a team that Duke fans did not want to see. So that's interesting. Interesting matchup. With Kentucky, I mean, I just don't know. They just, like, they're Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. If they're best, they can beat anybody, but they sometimes choose not to show up or play defense. I'm really worried about the Providence matchup, and even more worried about if we advance to Kansas State. I just can't see Kentucky coming out of that bracket. Michigan State, though, is a team that I think that we can beat because we are miles better than we were when we first played them, and I don't know how much they've improved at all. But but more than that, I actually really like Marquette coming out of this region. Marquette played in a tough Big East. They beat a lot of really good teams. They only have 5 losses on the season, and it was on a combined 35 points. So it was basically all one loss that they lost by double digits. Everything else was like 3 points here to really good teams. So I mean, Shaka kind of reasserted himself as one of the best young coaches. I guess he's not even young anymore, but one of the best coaches in game after kind of not doing. Yeah, his hair grew back, right? Yeah, he I guess he was bald by choice. But yeah, if it not working out with Texas and kind of getting a change of scenery and see what happens. So I like Marquette coming out of here. As much as I'd love to see Kentucky, it could totally happen. I mean, every team on our side of the bracket we could technically beat. That's good news. But we could also lose to all of them too. So we're not scared of any of them, but
except Tennessee, we're 2-0.
I mean, on our side of the bracket, I'm talking about like on the lower half.
I got
because I don't know if Tennessee has enough juice to make it through. If we do, but again, I think we can beat any of the teams, especially because we have one of the best players in the nation. So let's just see what happens. But I just think there's just too much going against us. Knowing how the season went, I can see us winning like a game or two and then playing really well and then just really shitting the bed. So unfortunately, Marquette.
If I stay consistent with Terry's grammar tonight, it's Illinois, Arkansas, and would this be Marquette, Terry? Marquette, right? Q-E-U is qua.
Why are you making it sound like I'm speaking Ebonics? I pronounce the S in Illinois for a very specific reason. Because they stole Lincoln. So I want them to understand what they did every time I say their state name.
All right. You're not in a playing mood. Okay. What do we got here? Let's see topics.
Got to wrap it up, Kevin Hale.
I've got a little some time. I was going to bring up Sister Jean. I don't even want to talk about that.
She's great. Saw her here in Des Moines.
She picked Kentucky.
Yeah, she picked Kentucky. She comes to Iowa every time Loyola plays at Drake because her sister, not her like Catholic sister, her actual sister lives in Iowa.
Soul sister.
Sister Jean got some soul.
Okay, next topic. Actually, Tristan, this came from one of your tweets. I thought was cool. You're tweeting about Rece Davis's comment that, and I think there's several people have said it, but using Rece Davis, that claims there are only two coaches built for the Kentucky job, Calipari and Pitino. Is that true? You buying or selling it?
I think everybody kind of took that story and ran with it. Like Rece Davis was saying, the only two people that could ever coach the Kentucky program. No, it's just if you had to pick in their primes, who would you rather to coach Kentucky? It's Rick Pitino and John Calipari. Obviously, there's other coaches. You've had 5 or 7 coaches win national championships. I mean, Eric Musselman could come to Kentucky in 2 years and have success, I believe. So it's not that. It's just John Calipari, even more so than Rick Pitino, understands every aspect of the Kentucky job. That's recruiting, that's winning, even though he hasn't gotten the results you've wanted the last 2 years. That's kind of giving back to the community, having the same passion as the fan base, even though the fan base doesn't always feel like that. Look at him on the sidelines when he's coaching a game. Does it look like he does not care? I mean, he clearly loves this job. I know he frustrates people with some of his actions, but there's not another coach that I would
not just the job. He loves the kids.
It's not even just it's the people. It's the whole state. It's the kids, the state. I mean, he loves every aspect of it. And that's one thing I'll always respect Cal for. If he never wins another national title, he's put how many kids
all
in the
the
NBA?
Other shit that he does for us. I'll say the state.
Let's say the state. And I mean, he's transformed families. I mean, that's bigger than basketball. That's. I mean, you can't ask for. You can't ask for a better coach, in my opinion, right now. But you can argue with a wall, and some people will. So I'll leave it at that.
Terry, buying or selling that? Jump on what Tristan just said?
It's absolutely right. Cal has kept the program out of the spotlight negatively because we all heard the jokes when he got hired that, the NCAA was going to be right at the door, and my hometown school was the one that had their banner come down in a very dirty scandal. So
to the ceiling dirty.
It's a family show. But, my whole thing is, yes, you can plug in a coach that's decent and win. But the question is, are there coaches that can survive under the bright spotlights of Kentucky and embrace it? And that's a very short list of people that cannot do the X's and O's and win, but do everything else that comes with being the Kentucky coach. And Cal's one of those people. Whoever replaces him may not be the same person, but we'll still be able to win. So yeah, I agree with that sentiment. It's a short list of guys that can come coach.
Corey.
Same as Tristan and Terry. I think Al McGuire in the 70s said, I'm probably going to butcher it, but he said something like, UK was great before you, and they'll be great after you. Rick won a lot of games here, but in terms of off-the-court stuff, I think Cal is light years ahead of Rick. What he's done for the state for the flood victims and the tornado in Mayfield and everything else, changed lots of lives. Not a lot of coaches out there that can do what Cal can do, both on and off the court.
Yeah, that's a good point too, because Pitino, it was confirmed during his Louisville days of the Karen Cyphers and the others there were others. I know for a fact there are others, but he also he had that reputation in Lexington too. He was.
Thank God social media wasn't around.
Or there you go. Carrie, Pitino, Potato.
So I remember what was here before Cal came. Do you remember what was here before Cal came? Because I do, and it sucked. And obviously there'll be somebody after Cal. We don't know who that's going to be. You're not going to shut the program down. Obviously, like Terry said, it's going to be different. It's not going to be the same. But it wasn't the same when Pitino left. It wasn't the same when Tubby left. Obviously, thank God it's not the same when that who shall not be named left.
But he still won SEC Coach of the Year. We've had 7 straight guys be SEC Coach of the Year.
First year, yeah.
That's crazy.
So I don't know, but I don't care who's going to come in future, because that's not. Why are we even talking about this? It's not relevant. Cal's here. Cal's not going anywhere for the foreseeable future, and I'm going to say in the next at least year, maybe 2. But I cannot talk about this. Who's going to replace Cal? Because a lot of people do, and that's all they want to talk about. And I don't care, because I'm living in the present, baby, and we're about on the cusp of the NCAA tournament. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, no, and I don't think if I try to make the point, I wasn't trying to make the point of who's next. It was just kind of just that narrative that there is that, it's a Pitino Calipari that is the best kind of guy for the program.
So the guideline is we just need to hire Italian-American coaches.
Yeah, and Terry's Italian has picked up amount.
It's a spicy meatball. Gabagool.
We're getting canceled. The show's getting canceled.
Shay, real quick, just give us your quick take on
it takes a special breed to be a Kentucky coach, Italian American. But you got to have that dog in you, and their primes. I think we didn't see the past Pitino's prime. Obviously, it's a quite different situation in Iona, but I can never hate John Calipari as many times as we lose or whatever. It's very frustrating because the young Cal had that dog in him. The young Cal when you're young, you want to win everything, every little battle. You don't see like a long-term strategy. You're like, I want to win every single game. I want to win every single tournament. It's not enough that I win. Others must lose. And
there was a time it was about Cal. It was about Cal back then, but that's changed. So.
But now he's become older, in some ways wiser, in some ways softer, which is great because he's helped the community. So, there's not a coach that has been a bigger humanitarian in college basketball than he has, and he's always going to have that place in my heart. But this is also Kentucky, where you need to win games also at the end of the day. And that mindset kind of went away for him. And especially when you make comments like, oh, I just want to go home and see my dogs after the NCAA tournament, because you understand that it's a marathon, not a race. But the old Cal wanted to win every single race, and I kind of missed that. And I feel like there are coaches out there. There are fewer, but there are coaches out there that will fit that type of bill when it finally comes time to move on from Cal or amicably split, or when he decides to hang it up, which is his decision, which I hope he's here a long time. But that's the difference, and Pitino had that, and we got that prime part of Pitino. You either leave at your prime, or you stay long enough where people start to see you get soft. So I think that would have happened with Pitino too. But he still is the best. The difference is he still is the best X's and O's guy in the game, but I think Cal has way better social skills. So that's my take on Pitino versus Cal.
Okay. One more topic before we go final shots, and again, I'll turn to my man Tristan, who put out these tweets, or was it tweets or maybe articles? Tweets. Devin Leary, Tristan. Two of our it sounds like the whole receiving the three-headed receiving core we have in Dane, Varian, and Tristan is all had some great reviews, feedback on Leary but definitely different as a quarterback than and some people thought they were maybe taking shots at Levis, but I didn't see that. But
yeah, everybody likes to fill in the context to create their own stories or sub stories. That's not the way I took it when I heard it. I mean, when they're comparing the throws to a Levis, he's got an arm on him. He's throwing it as fast as he can to try to get it there. That's not to say it's not accurate. It's not a bad pass, anything like that. But they're talking about how Devin Leary has more of a touch. This is a guy, like 2 years ago before his injury, he was looked at a first or second round quarterback guy. Obviously, he's not been healthy for a full season since then. But he is a guy that was one of the best quarterbacks in the ACC, and that's with a conference that has Clemson. So I do think that it's promising to see that. Obviously, he's not participating in full spring practice. He's still recovering from that torn pectoral muscle. But just to see him participating somewhat and getting the feedback from the receivers is promising.
That there's a connection already there.
Exactly.
I think that's huge. Terry, you want to chime in on that?
It's Selection Sunday.
Okay.
When football season was going on and we signed a top recruit,
it was always great.
Got to give time to football. So it's Selection Sunday. I understand we've got to talk about it, but it's Selection Sunday.
All right. Anybody else, just real quick before we go to final shots?
I mean, he's still recovering from a torn pectoral muscle, so this may not be the exact way he throws the ball in future. Yeah. I mean,
you come back bigger, stronger, faster.
Could be.
Okay. All right. This is Selection Sunday, and our Cats succeed in the East. Game time 7:10 p.m. Eastern, Friday.
On CBS.
Yeah, on CBS. Okay, it is final shots time. Terry, I'll start with you.
Final shots. Shout out to the Fairleigh Dickinson University Knights that made the tournament. They will play in the play-in game on Tuesday, and I say that Tobin Anderson is the coach there. He's a first-year coach. They were a 4-win team last year, got them to the tournament this year. They are statistically the shortest team in Division I. They do not have a player above 6'5".
Oh, wow.
So small ball at its best. He's married to a good friend of mine. We've had him on Cats Talk a couple of times. So shout out to Fairleigh Dickinson for making to the tournament and getting a little bit of shine. So we're rooting for you, Tobin. Hopefully you can take out Purdue with a 7'5" person. But shout out to the Fairleigh Dickinson Knights.
Corey, final shot, sir.
I'm going to give a shout out to the UK softball team. They went to Columbia, Missouri this weekend and shut them out all 3 games, outscoring them 16-0. On the second time in school history, they've gone on the road in the SEC and won all 3 games, allowing 0 runs. The owner time was 2016. So shout out to the softball team.
Carrie, what you got for me?
Super excited. Kentucky hockey raised the money. They're going to nationals. I'm so excited for them. They deserve it so much. And, just awesome that so many people came together to back them. And then Shop Local Kentucky kind of put them over that $20,000 mark, making shirts and selling them. I think within like a 24-hour period, put them over the mark that they needed. But you can, I don't think you can still buy a shirt. Maybe midnight tonight on Sunday. But I'm super excited for those guys. They deserve it. And I hope they do well.
Go Cats. Go Hockey Cats. Tristan, what you got for me? Final shot.
This is my favorite time of the year outside of Christmas this week. So I hope the Cats don't let us down on Friday with a let me down game. I don't think they will. I think they'll be ready to go. I think they know what's at stake. If you listen to any of the guys after the post-game locker room, they're not – I mean, they're upset with the loss. And these guys, they play best with their backs against the wall. They have their backs against the wall. They've heard all the talking that's happened this weekend. They know what's the storylines are going to be after St. Peter's, after with Bryce Hopkins. They know everything. So would love to see them kill Providence and give us a bit of confidence going into Kansas State. So hopefully they get that done and we have a fun weekend.
Thank you, sir. Shay, what you got for me?
Final shot. I actually think this is the first one of the few years we're not going to have a traditional blue blood in the Final Four. I got Alabama, Marquette, Texas, Gonzaga. If Gonzaga hasn't won a national championship, so I can't call them a blue blood. No, so yeah, that's going to be kind of interesting. And if this is the year that it's kind of wide open, 4 teams that we're not used to seeing, and so that's going to be exciting in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm with you. I got to throw just a quick final shot. There was a team that started at the beginning of the season, is one of the top teams, 4 returning starters from a national championship game. Started out number 1 and basically arguably had, you can argue, as the biggest epic fail of the season. But they didn't get the attention in their spiraling trend down that I felt that we did throughout the season. It seemed like our failures were still always amplified, or we're under a microscope. But you had a program, a blue blood who brought back 4 starters, and shit the bed this year. So.
And there will be a team this year that goes far, goes to the Elite Eight, Final Four, and they will be ranked high, just like they have with UCLA and North Carolina. So,
yeah.
This is North Carolina's first rodeo with that.
You're right.
North Carolina won the 1993 championship.
A lot of Dean Smith teams like that.
Lost Donald Williams, added Rasheed Wallace and Jerry Stackhouse, and didn't make the Sweet 16. They lost They lost in the round of 32.
And they turned down the NIT bid or the invitation.
I didn't know you could do that anymore. I assumed that you had to take it.
Same, Carrie. Yeah, same.
That was my thought.
Since the NCAA is running it now, I didn't think you could turn it down.
Yeah.
I have a Carolina fan as a friend, and he was really excited because he didn't want to watch this team anymore. So he was glad they turned it down.
Because what happened? You remember 2013? Kentucky didn't want to be there. Like, Cal didn't call any timeouts in the second half. He's like, we just need to wrap this the fuck up. Oh, can I say that? Are we adults here? I'm sorry. We just
kind of like how you
up.
do me towards the end of the show. This show. Wrap it up. That's how you do it.
Man, that feels racist. But I love you. But I want to bring up a tweet that Tristan had talking about life is all about perspective. And he said, there's the people that are beating the drum. We haven't won a game. We haven't won an NCAA tournament game in 4 years. Yes, because that's how calendars work. But you can't hold the 2020 season against Cal. There was no tournament. That's like saying USA men's basketball is suffering because they haven't won the Olympics in 2 years when there was no Olympics. There's plenty of other things you can be aggravated about. You don't need to pile on with this false narrative. It's been 1,032 days. Who cares?
Can't make the tournament every day.
Right. That's like that. Who is that for? Anyway, you just want to be aggravated when there's legitimate things you can be aggravated with Cal about. But Tristan, way to go, buddy. That's what you have to do. It's all about perspective.
Yeah, Tristan.
It's been 4 years. Right. It's been 4 years, and it's only been 2 completed tournaments.
Yeah.
And my only point in that tweet was kind of what Terry said. It's about perspective. Both sides are true, but you have media outlets that are going to push one narrative or the other. Not to put any names out there. I love everybody that I get to work with, but they're doing that for a reason, and people kind of just need to take 5 to 10 minutes, look at the facts, and form their own opinions.
Because you can't say we lose every March. Like, what? Like, Vanderbilt's our daddy. They've won twice in a row. It sucks, but it's 2 games. Prior to that, they hadn't won since 2016. What are we doing? Be upset, but please be real. That's all I ever ask.
All right. what we're doing is wrapping up this show, Round of Shots on this Sunday night. It's if Cats have 9 lives, we've used 8, and we're on number 9 heading into Friday night. So go Cats. Guys,
Cats,
thank
go
you for
Boogrie.
doing this. Everybody check out the audio. It will drop at the beginning of the week. Round of Shots. Wishing everyone a great Sunday night, great week. Go Cats. Peace out, my friends. Take care.
See you guys
Later.
See it.
Thanks, guys.